Shane. At this time, I call the Neighborhood Jobs and Housing Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Leslie Smith. Councilmember Lupien. Vice President Harris.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's so good to see everyone here today. We have two presentations that we're going to do. Okay, so good to see everyone here today. We have two presentations we're going to do. The first presentation is going to be from Mr. Deniz Yaman from Rock-Si. Before he comes up to speak, let me tell you folks why we have him presenting. Last month, we voted on the sale of the number 29 school to Rock-Si's larger owning entity. In all of the years that I've been on council, we've never had an issue regarding selling surplus school buildings to charter schools. The last time we did so was roughly 10 years ago. We sold the old number 22 and we sold the old number 36 in the Northeast District to two charter school operators. Those buildings, they were surplus buildings. The school district gave them back to us. They've been up and they've been running and they've been well utilized over the years that they've been in service. They went from being surplus property that the rest of the school district didn't need to being property that is now available, that was then available and was purchased by charter schools. Buildings built as schools were repurposed as schools, which is, in my mind, is one of the easiest and simplest adaptive reuses that we could come up with. So I didn't reach out to him about coming in to make a presentation. And then to my surprise, the item failed. And I took it personally. And I decided that instead of looking askance at so after I got over looking askance at my colleagues, I decided I would take some personal responsibility. And I decided that I'm going to own it. Maybe the problem in this issue is that I didn't give Rock-Si a chance to tell its story to the full council or those council members who would be interested in hearing it. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to do that with Rock-Si, and we're also going to do that after they're done with their presentation. We're going to do the exact same thing with Young Women's College Prep, which is on deck to buy number 20, which is located in the Northeast, because no one can better tell your story than yourself. So we're going to start right now, and we're going to ask the delegation from Rock-Si to come forward and educate us on the type of education they provide to our students and what the proposed use is for school number 29.
That helps. Thank you. In case you needed to hear that again, I am the board chair for Rock-Si, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm a former accountant, and for me, this decision needs to make financial sense for the city just as much as it makes sense for us. And what I've seen is that Building 29, school number 29, has been standing there vacant, costing the city dollars in terms of maintenance. And it's already starting to incur a number of issues in terms of the HVAC system about to die. There's a lot of vandalism there, and it's becoming a blight in the community. I know that there is a desire to turn this property into affordable housing, but there is no project in the pipeline. And I believe that School 25, which is supposed to become affordable housing, has had a project that has not been funded, has no hope of turning the building into actual housing for a number of years. And it's a promise that you're making to your community, which remains yet to be fulfilled. We are offering you an opportunity to take what was a school building and to revive it into a very vibrant educational community that provides hope and provides opportunities to the community of the city of Rochester right away. We're talking about a matter of months. We have the financing, we have the dollars. There are 8 million national dollars coming to the city, which will immediately see this plan come to fruition. I'll let our executive director and our principal speak to the value that the school presents. I just wanted to make a case for this in terms of dollars and figures for the city itself. Thank you for the opportunity to present.
Good evening, dear council members. My name is Dr. Joseph Polat. I'm the executive director at Roxai. We have opened Roxai's doors to Rochester youth with the hope that we're going to provide. We will be providing the best education possible, the best education that our Rochester kids deserve in these schools. We have still that promise. We have the promise to Rochester youth that we're going to do everything. We're going to work really hard to make sure that they're receiving the best, the top-notch education that they deserve. There are few obstacles like facilities, finance, or environmental challenges. We are really working hard to achieve those challenges. We can provide education. We are the educators. We know how to educate. We have wonderful teachers. We have great staff. But we are not business owners. We are not business operators. When it comes to some business decisions like financials or facilities, we need support. And today I'm asking your support to help us to achieve our challenges, facility challenges, and let us do the best thing that we know to do, educate our kids in the best way. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, dear council members, dear President Melendez, and thank you very much, dear Councilman Mr. Patterson, for allowing us to come here and present our school to this wonderful chamber here. And thank you very much for listening to us. I would like to quickly, talk about our school, what we are doing, and what we are trying to bring to this school. Again, my name is Deniz Yaman. I'm the principal of Roxai High School. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today and present our case. First, who we serve. I already put some papers on your desks. You will be able to see our current location, our enrollment information, our high school enrollment counts by districts, our demographics, our high school enrollments by zip codes, and our high school performance highlights. So these are the current data. You can easily find them on NYSED, New York State Education Department's website. These are the information that I filtered and presented to you. When you look at our demographics, out of 130 students, we have 104 of our students are black. We serve students with disabilities. We serve English language learners. You can see it down below in 6, where it says 83 students out of that 130 students are female, which is about 65% of our population is females. And we have 18 students with disabilities, learning disabilities, and 12 English language learners. So, where are we right now? We are currently located inside another school building in Irandicoy. Our students, 95% of our students, you can see it in column 3, Out of 130 students, 124 of our students come from Rochester City School District. And the rest of them, just 6 of them are out of our district. So meaning that 95.3%, whatever it is, come from Rochester City School District. Our students are being transported out of district and being transported back to the district, back to Rochester at the end of the day. It's 4:14 right now, and the buses are finally at my school right now because our dismissal is at 4 o'clock because we are out of district. We are tier number 2 school. That means that we are always being placed in number 2 in terms of dropping the students off and just, picking the students up at the end of the day. So what are we achieving? So before that, we are sharing a space, like I said, in a private school in Bishop Kearney High School building in Irondequoit. So we have limited classrooms. We only have 12 classrooms. That's what they gave us. I'm very grateful the fact that Bishop Kearney people allowed us to move into that building, because without that, for the past 3 years, we did not have any home. We did not have a permanent location. Last year, when I took the action, I'm like, where am I going to take my students to? So I reached out to Bishop Kearney people and I asked them and literally begged them to allow us bring my students into that building so I can continue educating, I can continue supporting my students. And when you look at the performance data down there on the column 5, you will see how our students are doing such a great job, dramatically outperforming their home districts and so many districts in New York State. So if you look at the Algebra 1 data, when we started operating in 2023, our students walked in our doors because they are 9th graders. We did not have them in previous years. They had only 18% of success. With us, yes, it was 19% the first year because we did not know what we were going to see. Within 1 year, we learned what our students really needed, what kind of strategies we have to come up with. As you can see, and these are not Dennis is saying to you, these are from the New York State's website. In 1 year, we jumped to 52% of success rate. Is it still a great story? No. I want every single one of my students to pass with 100% graduation, 100% passing scores. This year, my team is trying to outperform the New York State, which is 64%. And I'm 100% sure my students are going to get there with the help that their teachers provide to them. Just last year, as you can see in that, so algebra is 52, geometry is 46, living environment was 45%, and global history was 49%. These are just not the numbers. This is growth, as you can tell. Especially when you consider where our students are coming from and the conditions we are working at. We do not have a permanent place. I have Regents exams that I have to prepare my students for in this upcoming June. I have interviews so I can continue hiring quality educators for my building. I have New York State English language exams, and I have to make sure that they are being administered correctly. This is the quarter 4 right now, and I have to be in my school. I wish I was in my school building right now instead of coming here and presenting what we are doing, because we are a school, we are educators. I'm not a politician. I respect every single one of you, but I want to just tell you this: I will never be a politician. I already learned that. So I want to be an educator. I want to educate my students. I want to see them being successful. I want them to have a home. I want them to have a school where they can say, this is where I graduated from. This is not, like, I do not want my 11th grade students who are with me for the past 3 years, and they are going to be seniors next year, and they do not have a school building where they can say, like, this is the school where I graduated from. I want them to come to me and say, like, Mr. Yaman, hi. I want them to come to me and say, like, Mr. Yaman, I'm your alumni, and I want to celebrate their successes. I wish I was being able to, tell them, like, on last, I know that, like, 2 weeks ago when you had your, the committee meeting, when you voted, and unfortunately it did not come with the outcome that we were expecting, I was so ready to share this great news with my students. When I shared the sad news with them, their first question was, Mr. Yaman, what can we do to support you? Well, I said, guys, this is not something that I am familiar with. I don't know how politics work and everything, but why don't you share your thoughts with the dear council members? They started sending you emails. I know that some of you already shared that with me. They started sending those emails to the council members, literally begging you to allow us to have a school building for our students, for our staff. And today, as I was walking out of the building, like before walking out of they were like, Mr. Yaman, we prepared these cards, these thank you cards, and I put those cards on your desks. They want to be heard. They want your support. So they wanted to write all those notes for you, and they are just, what we are asking is a very simple thing. We want a fairness. We want a fair environment for my students. We want a home. We want a school. So for those of you who voted no, I would love you to please reconsider your decisions and give my students a chance. Come to my school building. Come see what they are doing in my building. They are doing an amazing job. These kids, every single day when I walk into the building, I see them looking at me, like, especially nowadays, they're like, Mr. Yaman, is there a news? What can we do? Literally, this is my day-to-day life every single day for the past 2 weeks. Like, what can we do, Mr. Yaman? I'm like, you guys did everything you guys could. Like, there's nothing else. We are not going to, like, I'm not going to bring you guys outside of the city council and, like, city building and, like, protest. This is not us. I am an educator. My students are students. Like, I want your support. Please, 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 one more time, give my students a home. This is the only thing we want. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Council members will go down the line. We'll start with Council Member Smith. Any questions? Council Member Monroe.
So I see that you're able to also serve students outside of the city school district boundaries. Will you be able to continue doing that?
Yes, we will be able to do that.
So is it countywide that you're able to draw students from, or
Say it again?
Is it from within Monroe County that you can draw students from?
We can get students within 15 miles range. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, just thank you for coming and sharing a bit about your story.
Thank you for having us.
President.
Yes, thank you all for sharing a little bit more about the school. Had a great opportunity to hear some testimony from students last week. Received many emails, so appreciate the advocacy. Try to respond to every one of those emails, but it's a lot. So, but we look forward to hopefully reconsidering.
Councilmember Leslie Smith.
Thank you for the presentation. I think one of the things that we hear all the time is that charter schools pull funding from the Rochester City School District. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about how necessary it is to close budget gaps because the per pupil rate is not the exact same per pupil rate of the school district. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Dr. Pollard.
So there's a misconception that charter schools are taking funds from the city districts. The reality is, the number one reality is, funding follows students. So if the students and parents chose to go to a different district, for example, they go to out of Rochester district, their funding goes with them. That's number one fact. Number two fact is the charter schools received almost 65% of what regular, but traditional public schools receive per student. So we are asked to do more with less. Another fact, the number three fact is charter schools are not eligible for facility funding. So we receive $0 for facility funding. What we need to do is we need to go out, search for additional funding, look for grants or foundations that can support this. A great example for this search is 88 Kirkland building. For this building, we receive a really generous support from Charter School Growth Fund, which is a national foundation that supports charter schools. So we'll be receiving $8 million from Charter School Growth Fund in a form of lending, but it's almost a form of a grant because it's a 0% lending opportunity. So we need to really be careful with our financials. We need to really look for support from the communities to close the gap. But we're trying the best. We're not asking like 100% funding. 60% funding is also good enough for us to run. But facility funding is a big piece. There will be another advocacy that we will be pushing for it because New York City schools receive facility funding, New York City charter schools. And Rochester schools, which I believe they need way more than New York City schools, that we will be doing some state-level advocacy to ask the state also fund our charter schools in Rochester for facilities. But currently, again, no facility funding. If you cannot get an affordable former public school buildings like this one, we are really in a really tough position. We need to use our operational funds to fund our facilities. We don't receive that. Yes, like school districts, the funding works like this. States sends funding per student to the school district. School districts gets the 100% of the funding per student and pays 65%, about 65%, 64 year to year change, 64% of the funding to the charter schools to educate those kids and keep that remaining 35%. Additionally, for each charter school student, states pays $1,000 additionally to the District of Rochester. Again, funding follows students. If this student goes to out of Rochester district, the district lose all of that 100% funding. But if that child goes to a charter school, the school district still keeps that 35% plus $1,000 per child. So I believe like charter schools is not 100%, I believe. It's not a burden to the district, but it's a support to the district. We're not competing with districts. District schools has a place, and we need the public schools. We need the public schools to be successful. But we also need choice for our families. The families in Rochester district, they shouldn't have only one choice. We shouldn't tell them like, this is the only thing that you can do. We gotta give them choice. This is school A, this is school B, this is a charter school, this is a public school. You have a choice. because many of our families in Rochester and similar cities in Buffalo also, choiceless. Sure.
I just need to move on to the next. Councilmember Leslie Smith, do you have another question, or are you good? Okay. Quickly, yes.
There's a reason why they need choice. Out of the 1,008 school districts in the state of New York, Rochester is number 1,000 in terms of performance. It's not fair to expect our community to think that that's acceptable. They need to have a choice, and we offer them that option.
Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Patterson. I'd just like to say thank you all for coming today. It was nice to see the emails come through. Again, I am also trying to answer all the emails. I will try. I do have a question and related to some of the things that you put out there about the state funding. And my question is, does the 64% of the state funding include transportation?
No. Transportation and food is provided by the district, but also food funding comes from federal government. We have choice to get the direct funding from federal government for the food or get through the district. So yeah.
Thank you. That's clear. That clears that up. Thank you. And then my other question is, I've heard in my neighborhood, the 19th Ward, that the school was closed because of concerns about asbestos. So this is a question for you and our administration, since we're selling. How is that true, first of all, to the administration? And number two, and how do you guys plan to mediate or mitigate the asbestos, if that is true?
Well, let's go to, hang on, Mr. Frisch.
Yes. The school building, which had been in use by the city school district in the not too distant past as an active school, would require, in order for it to continue to be in use as a school, to be certified as being free of any asbestos concerns. And to our knowledge, there are no ACM, asbestos-containing material related issues in the building.
Thank you.
And one plus thing is we have been working with our environmental consultants, because that's part of the closing. We are not allowed to close if there is a environmental concern which is not cleaned up. And also state is never gonna allow us to get into a building with environmental concerns.
So to be clear, you will have an environmental inspection prior to the close of the deal.
We have done phase 1, and almost phase 2 is almost completed, and asbestos remedy, the plan is on work in progress.
Thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber.
How much money needs to be put into the school to get it up to speed to open in September?
We already worked out the plan, submitted to state. We're not considering a major renovation, but it's mostly a facelift and environment, like the parking lot, outside, windows and doors. HVAC is the major thing. So with all these plus fire safety, we're estimating about $4 million right now for this summer.
And you have $4 million cash in hand?
We secure $8 million funding from our school growth fund, $3 million for the purchase, $4 million for the renovation, and $1 million for contingency.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lupien. Questions? Okay. So before we let you guys go and move on to the next presenter, I just want to go through some numbers that you provided us with. Okay. So we're going to go to the gender demographics of your current school population. It's 64% female. Is that correct? Okay, 64% female. So now we're going to go to race and ethnicity. 80% black, 11% white, 6% Hispanic Latino, 3% Asian, 2% others. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. So quick math, 91% some manner form of minority folks. Correct?
Yeah, 95%.
Okay. We're going to go back up to your school enrollment. 95% of your students are City of Rochester residents.
That's right, sir.
That is correct. All right. Students with disabilities, 14% of your students are students with disabilities,
Mm-hmm.
and 9% of your students are English learners. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. At this time, I call forward the Young Women's College Prep Group.
Thank you. Thank you, council members.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. My name is Sherry Weber. I am the principal at Young Women's College Prep. I'm sure you've gotten a ton of emails from our faculty, our students, myself included, and I do hope you guys took that time to read all of those. I did send a video that just speaks volumes to who we are as a school and the work that we do. And I think it's really important that if I could have played it here tonight, I would have. But I think hopefully if you can take a few minutes to do that. I want to give you guys a little history of how we got here today and what we're doing. So I took this role in June of 2023. In January of 2024, I received an email from our current landlord that said, hey, we're going to sell the building. Figure out what you got to do. We panicked completely because what are you supposed to do, right? I have 4 college degrees and not one of them has anything to do with real estate and development and commercial business and all of those things. I know how to run a school. I don't know how to buy a school. But I've learned a lot through this process. And with the support of our board, some who are with us here tonight that will speak to you, we got to work trying to figure out what is most important to us as a school. The number one thing that we kept coming back to was our zip code, was our location. Our current building, we are in the town of Greece. We're right on 104 near Olive Garden and 390, if you know the area. We're nowhere near where our kids are from. 91% of our students that we serve on a daily basis come from the city of Rochester, not the town of Greece. So for us, it was really, really important to say our zip code matters. Our location really matters. And as you know, real estate within the city limits, prime property. There's not a ton out there, especially big enough to make a school. So we searched and searched and searched, and obviously, as you know, this RFP popped up last fall, and it was like the heavens opened, you know, the sun was shining, and we got so excited, and like, this is it. This is our opportunity. And we did what we had to do. We did our due diligence. We got selected for this moment. And yet here we are 2 weeks away from this vote that could be life-changing for our school and our kids, and we're sitting here fighting. And the fight isn't worth it. It's about our kids and what does it matter to our kids right now. Every day I go to school and I fight for my girls. I fight for what's right for them. I fight for their families and what they need. And every day I talk to whoever they need me to talk to. I set them up with community organizations. I do all the things. And that's on top of running a school, right? Like Roxy was saying, testing still has to be given. Our teachers need professional development. We have budgets. We're closing out 1 year, starting another year. Meetings, attendance, transportation, all the things are happening. And these last couple weeks, our life has been dedicated to this. We made it a priority because, again, it's about our kids. And our kids are important. So we put aside some of those things. We're still doing the day-to-day, but we had to put a lot of it aside. I should have been in my building this afternoon working with kids in classrooms, doing observations, doing the things. But I came here to fight for my kids because that's what's completely right. That's what's the most important. Quick question for all of you. Growing up, if you missed the school bus, what happened? Did your parents drive you to school? Did you walk? Did you take a bus? How did you get there? Put yourselves in the shoes of our kids. They live in the city. They missed the school bus one morning, and they've got to get to Greece. We've got kids spending 90 minutes on an RTS bus that they have to make 2 transfers, ride 3 different buses just to get to school. And they care that much about their education that they're doing it. And they're taking that chance, and they're making that drive. 90 minutes of the school day spent on a bus, they're missing their education. Uber exists. I don't deny that. The other day we had a parent, her daughter needed to get home. It was going to be a $40 Uber drive from our school to her house. And that mom had to weigh the decision. Do I spend $40 to get my daughter home? Or do I put her on RTS for a 70-minute ride? That mom chose the RTS bus because $40 was too much for her. We're putting a lot of burden on our families in a moment like that, and why is that fair? If we were in the city limits, that's so much easier. Our kids aren't spending as much time on buses. Our parents aren't spending as much time on Ubers and doing what they need to do. And our kids are in school getting an education, which is the most important piece. Have you ever shared a space with somebody? I'm sure growing up, some of you might have, right? College, you probably shared a dorm room. I know I did. Like Roxy, we share a space. Our school in Greece is not ours. We share it with another school. It's an elementary school. So we've got elementary on one half of the building. We've got middle school and high school on the other half of the building. We share a gym, so we're constantly fighting over space. And what are you doing tonight? Can I have an award ceremony this day? I've got this senior blazer ceremony to honor my kids. Can I use the gym that day? That gets frustrating, right? I just want to honor my kids. I just want to hold events. I don't want to have to ask permission of somebody else to constantly be doing all of this work. Each year, we hold a back-to-school bash. It's like our end of summer party, beginning of the school year kickoff. We've been doing it the Thursday before Labor Day. You're all invited. I'll send you an invite this year. We hold it right at school, right? And we invite the entire neighborhood. We put flyers in all of their mailboxes, and we invite them in. But our Greece neighbors, they're just not as invested in us as our city neighbors would be. Picture us in School 20. There's a park right next door, a park that this city just put a lot of money into to restore. Don't you want the kids and the families to use that park? Imagine our back-to-school bash is no longer a YWCP event. It is a City of Rochester event. The school's right there. The park's right there. Everybody's hanging out. Food trucks we bring in. We bring in a DJ. We bring in community organizations. People set up tables. It is a celebration. And again, you'll all be invited. I hope you can be there for us. But we have an opportunity to use a space that the city's already put a lot of money into. Let's use it for the kids. Last thing I want to talk about real fast. As women, ladies, I'm talking to you. No offense, men. No offense. We're here for our girls. And as women, we need to stick together for these girls. We are raising them to be powerful leaders on wherever they choose to go, whatever they choose to be. You 6 ladies are powerful women. You have an opportunity right now to do what's right for our girls. To stand up and say, yes, I believe in you. I believe in the future of the women of the city of Rochester. How do you say no as a female to 370 young girls who just wants what's best, who just wants an education in their own city, in a building that belongs to them? I gave you guys a flyer similar to Roxy with a bunch of demographic information, and I'm happy to answer any questions about any of that that's there. You can see the growth we've made academically. You can see our zip codes. You can see where our girls come from. You can see we're an all-girls school. We are the only all-girls public school in this entire county. The only other one is Mercy that charges tuition, right? Our girls get this opportunity in a single-gender environment. The research out there speaks volumes about a single gender environment and what that does for kids. And this is our moment to allow that to continue happening and to happen within the city limits. I'll let our board chair speak now.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Ghislaine Radegonde-Aysen, and I am the chair of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today and to share why this matters to our community. What we are discussing today is not simply a facility discussion, a facility question. It is a defining moment about access, equity, and the future of young women in our city. The Young Women College Preparatory Charter School has always stood for one thing above all: possibility. We serve 370 young women who have too often been overlooked, underestimated, or underserved, and we create an environment where excellence is not the exception, but the expectation. And we have the outcome to prove it. You have the numbers in front of you. And importantly, 91% of our young women already come from the city. which make one thing clear: the need is here, and it is strong. But so is the challenge. Our current location creates barriers, geographic, logistical, and even psychological, for the very family we are already serving, and that is why we are bringing YWCP into the city, and it is not an expansion, it is an alignment. Now I want to be very clear about something that gets overlooked. The city of Rochester has already invested in this building. It has already invested in this neighborhood. Right now, the city is spending nearly six figures annually just to hold them and to maintain a vacant school building. The resources that are going to that school are not actively serving the children, the family, or the community. So the question is not whether we invest. The investment is already being made. The real question is, what return are we choosing? Because School 20 gives us the opportunity to turn an existing investment into a living, breathing asset, one that serves young women, strengthens families, and activates the neighborhood every single day. And this is not a speculative vision. The neighborhood is already designed for this purpose of the school. The building is already configured for education. And the park adjacent to the school is already a community asset, one that is best supported when it is actively used, cared for, and connected with the daily life. A school brings that space to life. It creates presence, safety, engagement, and pride. So rather than asking the city to start from scratch, the proposal builds on what already exists, and we are intending to use it better. That is why it is so important to make this to meet the moment. If we do not act, we continue to carry the cost of underutilized space. But if we do act, we transform that cost into impact. We send a clear message that we will meet students where they are in the city, that equity requires action, not just intention, and that we are willing to fully leverage the investment we already have made. When we invest in a school designed to uplift young women, we are investing in leadership, opportunity, and the future of this city. We are shaping the next generation of women who will lead in the community and sit in rooms like this one. With School 20, we are not stepping into uncertainty, we are stepping into purpose with a proven academic model, strong leadership, and clear demand from families. So ultimately, the decision comes down to stewardship. And when we consider the need of this city, the investment already made, and the opportunity in front of us, the answer is clear. I will close with this. Years from now, this decision will not be measured by the complexity we are navigating right now. It will be measured by the lives changed because we choose to act. Because the truth is simple. The strength of a neighborhood is inextricably linked from the strength of the school. And by supporting YWCP and the school number 20, you are not only creating something new, you are activating what already exists. And I'm repeating it because it's so very important. We are tapping into what the city has already invested in, and we're just continuing the purpose of what this building is for. You are strengthening what already has been invested in, and you are ensuring that investment finally delivers for the people and for the young women it is intended for. So I respectfully ask for your support in moving this forward. And I'm asking not just for a vote, but for a commitment to this city and to the young women who are ready to rise within the city. Thank you.
Okay, folks, I have to move the questions now, so we're going to go through questions. And we're going to start at this end again. Councilmember Smith.
To you both, to Roxy and to Young Women's Prep, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much You can let the students know. Thank you for their advocacy as well. I'm reading each and every one, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all of the emails as well. Thank you for the video. Also saw the video as well. And again, thank you guys for your advocacy and all the work that you do on behalf of our students and families.
Councilmember Monroe.
So, Young Women's College Prep has had some difficulty finding a final home from where you started at what was the old Nazareth Academy. Then you moved over to the old Flower City School across from the cathedral, then to Greece, and now you're wanting to come back. I think that the opportunity to reuse this space for a school makes sense. As we think about how it does activate neighborhoods, I can think about UPrep, which I believe offered also a support letter for you all. UPrep is located in what was a vacated nursing home at the corner of Lake Avenue and Seneca Parkway. It had been vacant for quite some time. When UPrep came in, obviously that all got renovated, redeveloped. They took 2 other buildings to the north of it as well. And it has only been an asset to the neighborhood and another offering that parents can have, because we do know that the city school district struggles quite a bit. And while adults are trying to fiddle around and figure out how they can educate children with a $1 billion budget, I think it's important that we don't miss so much as a single day of a human being's development, because their development is so fast. Their learning is so quick. And for us to take any opportunities away from them is quite frankly criminal in my mind. Thank you.
Councilmember Martin.
Yeah, echoing my colleagues' comments, thank you so much for being here, for your advocacy, and also thank you to the youth for writing, reaching out, or listening. Just a huge thank you for being here.
President Melendez.
Yes, thank you. I was going to save some of my comments for when we vote on this, but just in case I'm not here, because I do have to run to another commitment, family commitment, I just want to say a couple things. First, I know the building well. No offense to any of my colleagues up here, but I know the neighborhood well, probably better than a district council member. I've been working in this community for 18 years on North Clinton Avenue, in the surrounding area. And I've seen significant investment in the area. We have significant challenges, but we've done significant investment. I just want to highlight a couple of those things. First and foremost, to the tune of probably about $150 million in projects, there's been housing efforts such as El Camino Estates 1 and 2, Pueblo Nuevo 1 and 2, Taylor Square, which is the old Hickey Freeman. Los Flamboyanes is currently under construction, which this body approved recently. And we're doing and have done a lot of housing in this neighborhood. In addition to that, the neighborhood has a vision for the future, and residents are getting ready to actually release the updated vision plan for El Camino. Part of that is creating a neighborhood association. Part of that is continuing to invest in housing in other forms. But also part of that is to reimagine what current assets could be used for public good. School 20, former School 20, I should say, is a central asset to the future of that neighborhood. And I would like nothing more than to see young women in that school getting an education in that neighborhood. And to your point about the investment in the adjacent area, that park, just a few years ago, we invested more than $1 million in the park playground area. And it's unfortunately desolate. Nobody's there. Part of getting Los Flamboyanes back and having more residents that live adjacent to it will help. But I would imagine that having a school adjacent to the park would also help. I think this is about more than just education. This is about building community. And when we have an opportunity for an entity to come in and say that we're going to plant our flag in the ground too, we're going to be partners in this community, we're going to do everything we can to support the revitalization of the area, we as council, in my opinion, have a tremendous opportunity to both support that, to support the sale of this building. And in supporting that, we're not saying that we don't support RCSD. I'm a public education student. I went to city schools. I graduated from 50 school as an elementary student up to Charlotte when it was a middle school, and then graduated from East High School. I'm also a parent of a charter school student. I understand the realities of the current situation in our education system, but I also understand that there's room for both, and we need options, and students need choice, and I emphatically support both sales and look forward to voting on them this month. Thank you.
Councilmember Lupien.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing your passion for the school, and I think it's incredible the work that you're doing with these young women. Thank you.
Councilmember Leslie Smith.
Thank you guys for your presentation. I'm sure you know that I am a fan of YWCP. I do want to say that some of the comments that were made about access and equity, I think really drove home for me. And I think about a decision that we have to make here on council in relationship to the New York State law around the urban suburban program, which essentially is giving Rochester City School students an opportunity of choice. And not too long ago, this body had some disagreement around community residents being able to choose whether or not they wanted housing or they wanted green space. And so I might argue that this decision and this choice, this opportunity is equally, if not more, important and consequential if we are not providing these opportunities. I think it's also prudent for us to be thoughtful as fiscal managers of the city, to not be responsible for holding buildings that we have to pour money into just coming up against budget season, which could potentially require us to cut very important programs because we want to hold on to buildings that we have no use for but are incurring debt as a result of that. The last thing that I want to say is, I am also a product of the Rochester City School District. Both of my children graduated from Rochester City Schools, and it was not without a lot of ups and downs and a lot of trying to figure out choice. As an educator, as a social worker in this community, working with families, working with parents, who just really want the best for their children, I think we have an obligation to make sure that we are not reinforcing practices of segregation and separation and isolation that we have historically been subjected to. If families have decided that this choice is the best choice for their children, I believe that we should support that. So thank you for your time and for your advocacy.
Council Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you. I too agree with the school choice model. And I'm glad that my colleagues here, have brought up the different things about school choice. School choice is important. I too am a product of the city school district, but thanks to school choice, my parents also gave me opportunities to do others. Like I started off with urban suburban, and then I left urban suburban and went to St. Monica's. Then I left St. Monica's and I went to Edison is where I landed. So I'm a product of a family that needed that school choice because I had things that I needed to take care of for myself in that learning process. So I stand here today as that product, and I still think that parents need to be in that driver's seat for their students' education and making those decisions. And school choice, we need to be able to continue to have that choice available to them. So thank you so much for your advocacy. Thank you for including the students in that advocacy as well, because it's very important to hear their voices as well. Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber.
Thanks. I'll reserve any larger comment for another day, but just same questions I asked Roxy. How much money would be required to do the work to get this school up and running?
We right now now are looking at about a $2.5 million renovation project. Being an elementary school and we serve middle school, high school, there are just some changes that need to be made to update the building. So it's about $2.5 million with renovations.
And do you have cash on hand for that?
We have some cash on hand and we have a lender ready to go. We're just waiting for the vote that says yes so we can close with our lender and get started.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Before we close out, do any other council members have any other questions for either group? Seeing none, thank you for your presentations. And we will now move on to the business at hand. All right. Introductory number 138, authorizing the sale of real estate. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
And a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 138, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory 139, authorizing the sale of school number 20. Questions, comments, or concerns?
I'd just like to explain my vote. I'm going to be a no for now, but I'm going to take a serious look at this. Thank you.
Okay. So, any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Move
Roll
it.
call. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? See that need a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien,
No.
Vice President Harris,
Yes.
All right. Introductory passes. Moving along. Introductory number 140, amending ordinance number 2025-154 related to the sale of real estate. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Question.
Yes.
I'm just curious if I'm understanding this correctly. If Mr. Gabriel is purchasing or has purchased 12 Terry already, and that's why
The combining.
Yes, he did purchase it already. There was a change in his status with the additional owner who was listed, and now he is the only owner, and we need to be able to combine the properties. So we need to make sure that the ownership records are identical.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Seeing no other questions, comments, or concerns, I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 140, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 141, authorizing the mandatory lease agreement for the Southwest Neighborhood Service Center. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber.
Thanks. So just want to make sure that I understand totally. This is renewing the current lease, but it's a 5 years max with 1 year at a time.
That's correct.
So if in fact there was a reason to move the neighborhood service center, which candidly I hope there is, because I don't think it's the best space for a neighborhood service center, there's the most we'd ever have to wait to get out of a lease is 1 year.
That's right. This gives us the flexibility in the event that we need to relocate.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other questions, comments, or concerns, I need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 142, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 143.
Chairman, that was 141.
That was 141. I'm sorry. Neighborhood Southwest Service Center. Okay. Authorizing a lease agreement, mandatory lease agreement. All right, now 142. Authorizing a lease agreement for the Southeast Neighborhood Service Center. Questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Gruber.
Thanks. Glad to hear that we're moving out of the Village Gate location. It seems like a win. I guess I'm a little bit unsure of what's happening here. My understanding was when the city put out the RFP for Laura Street, that there was an expectation that was going to be the location for the Southeast Neighborhood Service Center, and now it seems like we're making a pretty sizable investment in a totally different location. So I'm happy for a longer conversation in writing, but this is complete news to me that this is where the NSC is going to go. So curious if there's any comments now.
Sure, I'd be happy to give you a quick summary. So the current location at Village Gate, our lease was coming up at the end of, later this year. And we were notified by the property owner that the adjacent business was interested in expanding into that space and that they would be not renewing our lease at that location. And so we began a search for other locations across the southeast quadrant, as well as this particular location, which is owned by the same owner as the Village Gate property. Ultimately determined that this was the correct or best location for the Southeast NSC at this time to make sure that we can continue providing NSC services in the Southeast Quadrant with no disruptions. So the intent is to be in that location this fall. You'll note in the transmittal that we did negotiate for opportunity for early termination in the event that we decide or we find an opportunity to locate the Southeast Neighborhood Service Center office at the East Main and Laura Street site or at another site that we determine to be in the best interests of the community.
So is that the plan? Is the plan still for there to be a new build that includes the NSC, or is the plan for this to be the location unless something significant changes?
I'll answer that. So we had to make a decision, again, as the commissioner stated, to make sure that service wasn't disrupted. Clearly, if we have an early termination option in this lease, it would be our hope that the possibility still remains that there could be another location for the NSC in that quadrant. And we'll certainly keep council up to date on that.
Okay, thanks.
Councilmember Leslie Smith.
And is my understanding correct that the termination would cost us $100,000 to terminate the lease early?
Yes, that's accurate. That's accurate. That would be our amount that we would be obligated to pay if we wanted to break the lease early.
And just one more question. So, and I think I understand you, Commissioner Frisk, correctly. The RFP for Laura Street, which has a requirement for the NSC to be built in it, that will remain the same. If that is put out again, there will still be an expectation.
Well, that was the inclusion in the RFP that was advertised. We had been working with an organization post RFP period. Unfortunately, that did not materialize. But we are, of course, still very interested in working to bring development to that site. So I can't say at this time that an NSC office would certainly be part of that, but certainly something that we have not said one way or the other that we would not proceed with.
Thank you.
Councilmember Martin.
This, of course, has to be in writing, but could you send a list of the properties that the city rents for, including what the purpose is, the amount, and I guess the term of the lease?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And now we vote. All in favor of introducing number 142, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 143, affirming and approving a lease by the Rochester Urban Renewal Agency of Municipal Parking Lot Number 2 on Broadway. Public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
None. Need a motion and a second. We got
Move
a
it.
motion. Where's my second?
Second.
Second, thank you. And now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 143, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 144, appropriating funds and amending the 2025-2026 budget related to the city's demolition program. Questions, comments, or concerns? Council Vice President.
Thank you, Chair Patterson. Just quick question. I see that this demolition was about over $1 million, and we're getting reimbursed about $391,000. So with that reimbursement, does that cover all of our costs associated with the demolition?
Yes, this covers all of the costs to the city, as well as a previous payment that was made directly to the contractor.
Thank you.
Councilmember Monroe.
I appreciate that the chair had already asked a question about the Gardner Lofts. And I'm just wondering, for the new project, are they planning to have the same number of units for veterans, as well as I think there were going to be some units that were for families as well?
Yeah, I believe the project details all remain the same. The new building that will be built in place of the historic building that was unfortunately lost to the fire will be generally in the same shape and form as the historic building that preceded it. But obviously, as a new building, will have some features that are better fit modern needs. But that's primarily with respect to the first floor uses, no change to the residential.
And am I correct that due to some of the funding sources, that when these properties are open to be rented, that applications have to be accepted from all over? For instance, you can't give a priority to people who already live in the neighborhood?
That's correct. Yeah, we can't discriminate based on residence.
And that's because is it the state funding that makes it that way, or?
I'll respond to you in writing on that. I want to make sure you get the
Okay.
correct response.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second.
So move it.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All right. All in favor of introductory number 144, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 145, approving an appointment to the Board of Stationary Engineers. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Move it.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. And all in favor? Now we vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 146, resolution approving appointments to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing
it.
none, motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 146, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 147, resolution approving appointments to the City Planning Commission. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now we vote. All in favor of introductory. Yep. There was an amendment. Oh, thank you. You have an amendment. I appreciate you. All right. So we have an amendment. Where is the amendment? Here is the amendment. All right. We have an amendment. It is a resolution approving appointments to the City Planning Commission attached to City Planning members. Henio Marlins. Okay, so we need to amend the item to show that Henio Marlin it lives in the Northwest District. So I need a motion and a second to amend the item.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded to amend the item, and now we vote on amending the item. All in favor of amending the item, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The amendment passes. Now we vote on the item as amended. All in favor of introductory number 147 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes as amended. Introductory number 148, a resolution approving appointments. Yeah. What do we got? Oh, okay. I apologize. We got to go back and amend it again. I do apologize. I was reading quick. I only saw the other one. Only saw one. All right. So this second, so we need to go back and amend the item. We're going back to amend the item. Actually, the item passed. Yeah, whatever. Hell, we'll just. All right. So the item is to amend. The motion is to amend the item, changing the designation of Milton Picardo from being in the Northeast District to being in the Northwest District. So I need a motion and a second to amend the item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded on amending it. Now we vote on amending the item. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Amendment passes. Now we vote on the item as amended for the second time. All in favor of the item as amended for the second time, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. And I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I missed it. It was very much obviously on the page, and I just missed it. All right. Which one was that? 47, 48. Resolution approving appointments to the Rochester Preservation Board. Questions, comments, or concerns? Council member, anybody? Nobody? Nobody? All right. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Are we on? We're on 150.
We're on 148.
148. Okay.
148. Questions, comments, or concerns on 148? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 148, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 149, resolution approving appointments to the Rochester Environmental Commission. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 149, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. Introductory number 150, authorizing an agreement for the good cause eviction law education. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Just comment that I'm glad that we're doing this.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, need a motion and a second.
Move it.
And a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 150, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. And I say aye. Introductory passes. Introductory number 176, establishing a temporary moratorium on certifications of zoning compliance, site plan review, use and area variances, and construction permits for advertising signs regulated by section 120-177M of the city zoning code. Public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Lupian.
Yes, this is something that I've heard a lot about from my constituents, and I wanted to thank Councilmember Monroe for her leadership on this.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes, echoing Councilmember Lupian's comments. Thank you, Councilmember Monroe, for leading the charge, and also your work on this, Councilmember Patterson.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, we need a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Second, moved and seconded. And so now we vote. All in favor of introductory number 176, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. With that, the work of this committee is completed, and I ask the clerk to call the roll for the Ruhr Resolution Review Committee.
Agent Patterson.
Here.
Agent Leslie Smith.
Here.
Agent Lupian.
Here.
Agent Harris.
Here.
And Agent Melendez is excused.
All right. Introductory number URA4, resolution approving a lease by the Rochester Urban Renewal Agency of municipal parking lot number 2 on Broadway and designating Columbus Building Apartments LLC as qualified and eligible to lease said property. Public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, motion is moved and seconded. Okay. So moved and seconded, and now we vote. All in favor of introductory number URA4, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Introductory passes. With that, the Ruhr Resolution Review Committee stands adjourned. Thank you all.
At this time, I will slowly call the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Martin. Councilmember Smith.
Here. Here.
Vice President Harris.
Here.
President Melendez is excused.
Thanks. And let the record show we're joined by council members Leslie Smith, Lupian, and Monroe as well. I was not anticipating a 5:20 p.m. start, so asked for a presentation, but we'll ask for it to be a very brief presentation from Michael Ross from the IT department on introduction number 151, just for a little bit of clarity on what we're being asked to vote on for this first piece of legislation. Mr. Ross?
So over the past several years, the Project Management Office and the IT Department, working with a number of internal departments. I'm sorry, is that better? Yeah. Over the past couple of years, the Project Management Office, working with the IT Department and a number of internal departments, have done a tremendous amount of work getting legacy business applications off of our mainframe and moving it to an application called Infor, public sector. Infor is a hosted platform, meaning that it does not physically sit inside the city's IT infrastructure. It's hosted in Infor's cloud. Till now, we have not had access to the back-end data for Infor, which makes it difficult for us to do any reporting or analytics on that data. So this was a gap identified by the data office, and they're leading this initiative. We're managing the project to put in place a solution that will bring a copy of all of the business data from Infor back into our on-premise database systems every night to allow them to have access to it for reporting and analytics.
Thank you. Director Fisher, anything you want to add to that? So Infor is obviously what we use for a lot of the land management.
Correct.
Are there additional uses for Infor besides land management?
There are other uses of Infor that we're currently working on implementing. So we're moving all of our services off the mainframe, the additional services on the mainframe into Infor. That will be complete by the end of this calendar year. I can't speak to the details of that. If you need more information about that program, I would need the project management office to respond.
Okay. Do folks have any other questions about 151? We will actually launch into the legislative business and just capture these questions as part of the question and comments. So introductory number 151 is authorizing an agreement for a data extract, transform, and load solution. Questions, comments, or concerns? None?
Move it.
Okay, it's been moved.
Second. And
seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Instruction number 152, approving the apportionment of taxes and charges. If you wouldn't mind giving just a quick overview for new council members on the kind of the scope of what apportionment of taxes and charges means.
So this is the annual legislation to essentially move property taxes and other charges that are on tax accounts that have been subdivided or combined, meaning that the parcel dimensions have changed in some sort. So our system does not bill for those properties for subdivisions and combinations. The original SBL number remains on the system, but the charges are dormant on that system until they're moved to the new SBL number based on whether the property was divided or combined. So what this legislation does is it actually allows us to move those charges to the new SBL numbers. We'll notify the property owner that we're doing such. We'll give them a time to remedy, meaning to pay the charges on the old SBL number prior to moving to the new SBL number.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns about that? Councilmember Martin?
As always, thank you for your explanations. They always make sense, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
One small thing, it might be me, my eyes are aging. I couldn't see. It's not me? Okay. Okay. So could you please just send an updated in, obviously writing, yeah.
Absolutely.
Any further questions on 152? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
So moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Instruction number 153, authorizing an agreement and amending the 25-26 budget related to the Office of Emergency Management. I'd like to make a motion to amend introductory number 153 to correct the terms of the memorandum of understanding from 6 months to 12 months, January 2026 to December 2026. Can I have a second?
Move it. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. So first, we're going to vote on amending introductory number 153. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now any questions, comments, or concerns on introductory number 153 as amended? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move it.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 154, establishing a children's savings account custodial fund. I do see that in the transmittal there's talks about the program getting ready to be launched later this spring. So talk to the administration about having a presentation next month. In the meantime, could we just get like a quick 1 or 2 sentence explanation of what the custodial fund is? If such a brief answer exists.
Yeah, so forgive me, I'm just getting back from leave.
And welcome back.
Thank you so much. So I think I'll defer that to the finance team. I believe that was a decision made with Treasury and with budget.
So I can answer that briefly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up what's called the Special Revenue Fund. And what this fund will do will allow us to deposit money into an account that will essentially be the custodians for, because these funds do not belong to us. And we will do that until we find a proper owner for this program.
Perfect. Vice President Harris.
Follow up to that question. Thank you. Will that savings account or that account be interest bearing or not interest bearing?
I believe it will be interest bearing.
Thank you.
Councilmember Smith.
Yeah, so I was curious as to who legally owns the account.
Maybe I can let Angela answer that question, but it's not actually owned by the city. Angela, can you provide some insight into that?
So if I could get that in writing, just because I know we've been working with outside counsel and I'm about 2 days back from my maternity leave. So let me get up to date and I can get that to you in writing.
No problem.
And we are going to have a larger work session or presentation on the children's savings account specifically for next month.
Got you. So I don't know if I should hold my questions because I'm curious about the admin costs associated with this as well. So should I wait till next? Should I ask these questions now for the record and get them back in writing, or do I wait?
If you'd like, Councilmember Smith, if you want to send me the questions so I can, as we prepare for the presentation. But if you have any questions specifically about the custodial account, that's what I would limit the questions to at this particular moment.
Thank you.
If no further questions on 154, I will ask for a motion in a second.
Move it.
So moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Instruction number 155, authorizing an amendatory agreement for electronic discovery assistant in litigation cases. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Councilmember Martin.
There's a significant change from 20,000 to 145,000. So could you share the reasoning behind this change?
Yep, this is primarily related to the putative class action arising from the protest cases. And so we're about to ingest quite a significant amount of electronic discovery into a system. And that's why the sudden bump in costs.
And can you talk a bit about how it works?
I can get that to you in writing.
Thank you.
Any additional questions on this?
Move it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introduction number 156, authorizing an amendatory agreement to provide family preparedness clinics. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Vice President Harris?
I'm commenting that I'm very happy to see that this legislation is going through to support families. It's, resulted in the changes at the federal level. So kudos to my colleagues for putting this through.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes, echoing Vice President, this is really important. Can you share what the additional 1,300 would support? It's such a small amount, so just curious.
It's just one. It was just one of my member items, and because we're already over the 20,000, it just needed to go back to council. But specifically, Enlace asked for some dollars to help with some security at their facility. They've unfortunately had a lot of negative activity over there.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this, council member. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, we have to vote on that. I'll take a motion on 156. It's been moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Instruction number 177 is a tweener that we received today, and I'll just state we're not going to vote on any of the three tweeners, but I would just ask the OMB director just to give a quick explanation of what 177 and 178 are.
Sure. Thank you. So in our budget, and as a result of the way our property tax levy is apportioned between homestead and non-homestead properties, it's referred to as the tax shift. It's a pretty detailed calculation that takes into account the differences in the assessed values between the two classes of properties and any growth in the assessed value versus the physical value, like new construction. And every year we complete this calculation for the purposes of assigning the tax rate. It was set in place years ago due to a lot of cities having significant differences between business or commercial assessments versus homestead properties. It was put in place so that at any given time when a revaluation was done, which is not being done this year, that it would allow this mechanism to prevent a large portion of the property tax levy being put back on homeowners.
Thank you. Do folks have questions about this? Again, we will hold this today, and if people want to ask questions, and it is incredibly complicated and complex, if folks want to ask questions, I'm certain that OMB would be thrilled to get back to everyone with as much detail as you'd like. Councilmember Martin?
Yeah, I guess just a general, in writing, overview. Like, what are the things we need to know in order to understand what this will do?
Okay. There's a handout that the state actually issues that I can send along that might be more helpful.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
And it is ultimately taking what we have and essentially moving percentages around to make things equal.
Correct.
And in this case, it looks like if you look at the bottom of the transmittal that is labeled 177 and 178, the homestead percentage is going down. So that's residential, and non-homestead is going up. Was that a surprise to you at all?
It goes back and forth each year based on what's coming on and off the tax roll. So.
Got it. Any further questions on this? Okay, I will hold 177. I'll also hold 178, which we just talked about, and moving on to 179. Probably Director Jones, want to give a quick update on what this is?
Yeah, so what this is we're actually going to be refunding some commuter bonds, two different series 2013 and 2015 that were issued. 2013 was issued in June 1st of 2013 for about $103 million. And 2015 was issued February 5th of 2015 for about $44 million. So we're actually going to be refunding the balance of those bonds to secure a better rate, which actually will result in about close to $2 million in savings and upfront savings that the Rochester Joint School Construction Board plans to utilize in its Phase 3 projects. So that's essentially what we're doing.
Great. Any questions about that? Okay, we will also hold 179. It is my, not just expectation, but I think we actually really need to vote on all three of those items this month. So I hope folks have an opportunity to get any of their questions in writing before the full council meeting in a couple weeks. And with that, the budget, finance, and governance business is concluded and the meeting is adjourned.